with Lacucci River Electric Cooperative. Member-owned, community-focused.
Hello and welcome to the Turkey Man Show. I'm Kevin Vaughn, or better known here at WREC as the Turkey Man. I'm a long-time with the Lacucci lineman. Today I'm sitting down and speaking with a lineman who is in the gloving portion of our apprenticeship program. Welcome to the Turkey Man Show, Brandon Krauter.
Hey, happy to be here.
I guess we've talked to several other linemen in the company and in different parts of the program, first-year apprentice and an actual lineman that's been here for quite a while. And you're in the gloving portion of the program, so you're coming up on, what, about 5 years now?
Yes, sir. I'm 2 months into my 5th year, so toward the end of the program.
Great. So you are in that part of the apprenticeship program, and so what district are you currently at?
I started in the Bayonet Point district. I'm still there right now. It's right over in the Hudson area.
Right, so you've been there since you started at the same district, and I guess most people, that's pretty much how it works. You're going through the program. It is a 5-year program, so you're almost out of there.
Right.
As far as the program goes.
I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. So what made you want to become a lineman? Did you have anybody in your family that was a lineman or in the electrical industry in any way? Or
as far as my family goes, probably farthest from like the trades. Both parents are white-collar jobs, but I had a family friend of mine that was in line work. Talked to him a lot, and as I kind of got through my 20s, went to college, figured out what I thought I wanted to do, but ended up not being that. Right. So took a step back, talked to him a little bit more, and he talked me into going this direction, and I don't regret it at all.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's been a good career for me. I know for me, I didn't have anybody in the industry either, and I really probably didn't know what I was getting myself into at first. When you start the program, you don't, there's a lot of tests, a lot of studying. It requires a lot, and if you found that to be true, you don't really realize the amount of tests, and it's good. It you need to do that because you have to be well trained. But have you found that to be true as far as up to this point? Or?
I think it's a good balance of organized and like testing and all the things that you're responsible to take care of. Yeah. But there's also the other side of it that is an absolute blast. All my friends do a variety of things, and they'll get stories or like pictures of what I do, and they say, it looks like you're having fun every day. You're not even working, which we have the hard days too, but right. A lot of days it's a blast.
Well, it is that way. I mean, I know you develop a good relationship with the crews you're on most of the time, and it's a camaraderie together. You kind of build that teamwork, that friendship. And it can be demanding, especially I know we just come off probably 2 of the biggest storms that I know of that's affected our company, and it can be demanding.
Oh, absolutely.
So you feel good about being a WREC lineman then? I mean, you've enjoyed your choice your decision to become a lineman at this point?
Yes, sir. Yeah, when I started, I was 26. I actually started 2 years working for a contractor in Texas. So spent a couple years out there, but I knew my goal overall was to get back home and work for a local.
Right.
And when I was given the opportunity to interview here, I took the opportunity and haven't looked back since. It's been a blast.
Well, I know that's was important to me. I like being home, especially with a family. The companies have afforded that. Been able to work and be a lineman, but also be pretty close to home. Other than the times they send out for maybe storm duty.
Right.
So have you had any challenges so far that you've had to face as far as your apprenticeship?
Yeah, I'd say overall there's definitely a few challenges along the way. You mentioned the testing and all the practical side as well. All of our sign-off sheets, especially in the gloving program, we have all of our hot gloving sheet that we have to take care of before we finish the program. Some of those are harder than others, but with both of the journeymen I've been with so far on buckets, it's been nothing that they couldn't teach me or show me.
Right. For those that's out there and might be listening that don't know, the first 2.5 years, you don't have your sleeves. You do have your rubber gloves, but you're not really allowed to begin your glove training until 2.5 years. And so for 2.5 years now, you've been on the line training actual hot work. You're able to go up in a bucket next to a journeyman or with a journeyman, in a double bucket, and do that hands-on training for 2.5 years. It is a lot required, but you need that training,
Right.
And one day when you'll pass that test, the opportunity will come up and you'll be able to put in for a journeyman position. And you're going to think, man, I hope I really have absorbed all this,
Right.
And you kind of get that moment there where you think, man, I want to make sure that, I've learned all this well, because it's now on you,
Right. Yeah, it was exciting getting to that 2.5 year level, because
Right.
you get to do a little bit here, a little bit there, but until you're actually like hands-on with it, it's a feeling you can't describe to anyone else that hasn't already experienced it.
Right.
And even talking to the younger guys, for example, there's a guy, John Finch. He's year 2, I believe, right now. Great apprentice, awesome dude, works super hard. But even him, he'd be like, "Brandon, how's it feel? Like, can you tell me about it?" I was like, "Man, you can't describe it. It's just a different feeling." So
Well,
being able
yeah.
to be hands-on is awesome.
Different, just being on the ground, you can learn, but when you actually get your hands
Yeah.
on it's a whole different experience, and not everybody can do this job.
Right.
It's like I said, it is demanding at times. Weather conditions. I know yesterday we had some Crystal River crews we had a pole burned off, a wire down on the river. They had to go by boat. They had to climb. They had to fish, wire out of the river. That's pretty demanding at times.
Oh, yeah.
The weather conditions deteriorating, as far as it getting colder as the day went. So you have things like that affects. But, if you apply yourself and, like you've done, then you get to that place. And we never, know it all, learn it all.
Right.
Even the older linemen that's been here a lot longer, we can learn from the new guys, and hopefully the newer guys are learning from us as well. But
Right.
so it looks like you've had some good experiences that's made made your choice to become a lineman. So it seems like it's worth it to you so far to make that choice. And
Definitely.
so did you have to work through the hurricanes, Helene and Milton? How was that? Was that your first couple of hurricanes you had to do since you became a lineman here?
Since I've been at WREC, these were definitely two of the most,
Right.
or some of the biggest impacts that the hurricanes had on us.
Right.
So I definitely worked through both. First hurricane, I was actually on the night crew. That was a first experience for me.
Okay.
It was interesting, and getting to see the behind the scenes of not only how we work, but first responders and all that, especially on the coast where our
Right.
district got hit pretty hard.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
So getting to see how we were able to work with them and trying to turn as many people on as possible as fast as we could.
Right.
With
Safely. Yeah.
with having to worry about
Yeah.
floodwaters and all that.
Right,
was-
and the floods did affect us quite a bit, and that's a whole nother aspect
Right.
of storm restoration.
Right.
The floods and the way it affected the families that are part of WREC. Yeah, I know. Helene was bad, Milton was bad, and as an apprentice, if you've never seen that before, it's a lot. It's
Oh yeah.
you can go out on a trouble call and it's similar, but not near the scale.
Right. Yeah, a whole lot of
So-
moving parts.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts. A lot of, we still have to make sure all our safety protocols are in place, and that's just part of being part of, a lineman. Do you have any memorable stories so far you'd like to share? Something that just stands out?
There's definitely a lot of stories that you get to take away from, like you said, the camaraderie and the friends you make along the way. So
Right.
every day is a story that you can that you can
Yeah, for
build.
sure.
But probably one of the most memorable jobs, I guess I would say, in our district since I've started was the backside of the Connerton neighborhood.
Yes.
Used to be just a massive pasture.
Right.
Ever since I grew up right across the street from that neighborhood, and that's all I remembered it as. But we actually spent a couple months building what was a temporary line through that pasture, and it was every bit of what you can expect for a line where we dealt with water, dealt with mud, dealt
Right.
with all kinds of design changes.
I think they've been working
And-
on that Connerton since
Right.
I've been here. It's
So-
a massive project.
But that was one of the jobs, like how I've talked about earlier, of the mixture of hard work and fun all in one.
Right.
That was one where, I mean, there'd be days that we were on a mule riding out line, trying to figure out where the pole should be. Then there was days of framing where it was all dead until we brought it hot at the main road. So at that point, I was a second year, third year.
Right.
I was able to be in the bucket every day, which was a blast. So that was probably one of the memorable jobs.
Have you earned yourself a nickname yet? Because everybody, they call me Turkey Man, and I mean, have you earned a nickname? Everybody here has a nickname.
I guess the only one that they tried to get to stick with me was Woody at one point.
Okay.
So that one was just one of those where I made I was an early apprentice, so made a couple cuts of a limb on a service that ended up not being as great as possible, but it worked out. But I got that one, and I'll never forget about the things I learned from that job.
Right. Well, that's how it works. It's a lot of times they tease you, and rib you a little bit, but that's okay. That's how you remember. That's how you learn.
Right.
And really, if they're not messing with you,
Oh, that's a fact.
How you know that you're getting along with everybody. They kind of, everybody has a nickname, so.
Oh yeah, and I've learned quickly that you don't get to pick your own nickname.
No,
that's something that comes to you.
They'll name it for you. They'll pick it out for you. Do you have any advice for anybody that's wanting to get into line work? There's somebody out there might be listening that thinks, I'd like to make this a career. Do you have anything you could say to them that might encourage them to join the team here?
I'd say the few things that come to mind when I look at myself before I got into it was don't think that you're not qualified enough for it, because one of the big things I dealt with was, I was a college graduate with no blue-collar experience at all, but you get in with the right company, with the right people, they can teach you anything as long as you have the will to learn.
That's true. You said a lot. It's, I think I mentioned it earlier, but just being willing to learn from one another. It doesn't matter the time you've been here. We can all learn from each other.
Right.
And, we're our brother's keeper. We need to watch each other and take care of one another, and especially to be safe. It can be very dangerous, but that's part of the training program. That's why you go through 5 years. That's why you have to log in close to 10 to 11,000 hours of training.
Right.
And it's to keep everybody safe, and that's good. If somebody's wanting to be a lineman, don't be intimidated. Just the training's there. We can teach and help one another, and you'll probably end up with a nickname.
Yeah, I'd say just go for it. And the only other thing I would say, as advice to new guys, young, old, doesn't matter, is just the work ethic. Just show up every day and do the small things, and keep doing the small things.
Well, I can tell you, lazy won't cut it.
Exactly.
If and the guys notice, if you work hard, you jump in there, you're willing to work hard, you got a good career here. But if you think you're gonna come and be lazy, that ain't gonna cut it.
And like you said,
it is hard work, and you gotta know that coming into it.
Okay. And like you said, they notice, because within the first couple weeks of starting here, you'll hear the chatter. You either have good chatter or bad chatter, and you want to be the guy that is the one that, he got here a little early. Right. He's doing this, he's doing that. And that goes a long way, not only to the journeymen that you work with, but the guys that you work around.
Well, I'll say this, it does pay well, but if you're just coming here just because you think big dollar signs and you don't want to work or you don't want to apply yourself, that's not going to work.
Right.
Because I'm telling you, you've got to apply yourself, you got to train hard, and you got to be willing to climb the poles, to get in the bucket, to do the work, and the conditions, it can be hot, it can be cold, you can be wet.
Right. And going back to one of your first questions, where, like, why did I even want to get into it? One of the main things was, like, a way to give back. And, like you said, hard work, wet, cold, all those conditions. But all of it's worth it, like during the hurricanes, to see a road come hot at the end of the day. So.
Exactly, to restore power. That's one of the things that I've enjoyed the most, is being able to go and help others during storms, and even just a normal rainstorm that comes in. We have to restore power. Get people back on that that helps community, that helps everybody, and it's a big responsibility, for us. And to do it safely,
Right.
keep the public safe. Well, Brandon, I appreciate you coming and being part of the podcast today, and I want to thank Brandon Krauter for coming by from the Bayonet Point District. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. We'll see you down the line.
See you.
With Lacoochee River Electric Cooperative, member-owned, community-focused.